Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Can my stream even hear me? It's a great way to start 2025. Testing, testing. Can my stream even hear me? It's a great way to start 2025. I'm sorry for that feedback loop. I had to make sure that I could hear myself. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, I don't have an intro. I am Elegy Grin, a book scarfing goblin. And this is what I've been up to in the last year. This book goblin has been goblin some books. Is my BGM loud enough? I'm gonna make it a little quieter, just a little bit. Right there. Hopefully that's good. Now, first I'm going to go over the books I read last year. So my 2024 recap. I don't think this was all of the books that I read, but this is most of them. Looking at it though, I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know what it is, couldn't figure it out, but I feel like I'm missing books. But I also just read a lot of books last year without finishing them. I just kept, I don't know, not really enjoying some or not being in the mood to read, and then would end up not actually reading them. And I'll try to make this quick. I'm not going to go over all of them completely. The first that I did read was The Big Green Tent, and that was a big novel to start. It was over 500 pages, I think. It was okay. I don't have a lot to say about it. I found the writing a bit inconsistent. Some of it I found so just boring to read, and then there were other chapters that were really entertaining. And I know somewhere in there was like 100 or so pages about a character that I was not very interested in, and so the middle kind of dragged for me. The Book of Tea I remember really enjoying, but I don't remember anything about it, so I can't say much about it. I'll have to reread it. I liked it. It's like a essay, or a bunch of essays on tea, and it was great. And I remember learning a little bit, like, I don't remember it now. How funny that is to remember that you learned something but not remember exactly what it was. But I remember learning, like, in which order the different kinds of teas started being widely used, like tea that was in like cake form, like condensed down into like a puck, loose leaf tea, and powdered tea that you like with matcha that you whisk in a bowl. Anyway, on to the next one, because I don't know how long I have. Actually, before I keep going, I didn't think I was going to stream today at all. This is all very scuffed and put together at the last second. I was kind of going over my time and trying to figure out when can I stream, and I was like, oh, I have time right now. So I just went for it, because I figure my first stream being the worst of the year, hopefully, then I can only do better from here, or at least sounds like good logic if you don't think about it, so we're moving on. Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own. I was worried about this one. I'd heard a lot about Woolf, and I didn't know how I was going to like her writing style, and didn't know if I was going to like it, but I ended up really liking the writing style of it all. And I want to read The Waves this year, I think. I want to try that. I haven't tried anything else from Woolf, and I've heard it's a bad idea to jump right into that, but I want to do it. The Wolves of Eternity. This is the first in a trilogy or quartet, I can't remember. It was good, but really basic. There were some good parts in it, and I liked that the writing style changed a lot between the different characters. Like, I forget their names, but the professor's point of view, the writing style was a lot more dense than the main character for the first like 400 pages, like Sven or something. Ultimately, it wasn't like super literary or anything. I felt the writing, like the prose, was very digestible, and it was just kind of like a slice of life read. I mean, there were a lot of instances that happened. There were a lot of things that happened, but like there was a bank robbery that you witness from another character. Like the character witnesses the bank robbery, and there's several other things that just happen, but not a whole lot of plot to it. And I heard that becomes even more so in the later novels, like the Third Realm, I think is the third one. I've heard that one's like very slice of life, where there's not really anything happening, you're just reading about people, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. I actually like more character driven books. Leo Tolstoy's The Death of Ivan Ilyich, I think is how you say it. I was not blown away by this novel or short story, novella. I don't want to talk too much on it because maybe it just wasn't for me, but everyone like always talked about how it was life-changing, a life-changing short story thing, and to me it just didn't really hit at all. But I'll probably read more Tolstoy in the future. Chronicle of Death Foretold. I didn't know how I was gonna like this one either. A lot of these are pretty short because I didn't know. Wasn't super in a reading mood, but I really liked the like premise of this one. I liked the idea of a chronicle of a death foretold. Pretty much the story is that there's like going around and kind of like interviewing people figuring about a crime, and you figure out that this guy says, I think it might have been two people, twins. They say they're gonna kill this other guy, and they tell pretty much everyone in the town that they're on their way to kill this guy, and nobody stops them because they think that they're joking or they're drunk or many other things. And it was interesting. A Pale View of the Hills. I didn't know how I was gonna like this author. And honestly, after reading this, I would like to read more from them, but looking at their body of work, not much interests me. This was the only one that interested me, and it was okay. I don't know how to put this, but it felt amateurish in the best possible way. Like, if I could have a debut novel like this, that would be so great. Like, this was a good debut novel, and I'm pretty sure it was his debut novel. But like, I don't really know how to explain it, but it felt amateurish, but in a really good way. Like, there were just times where I wanted to see how far this author could go, essentially. But not a lot of his other books really interest me at all. Maybe The Unconsoled, but I haven't heard anything about that, and it's pretty long. Quite the commitment. I need to speed this up a little bit. Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. This was interesting. I really liked the writing, but it was kind of, at the same time, a dud. This sounds mean. I'm sorry. That was a little, over the top. The mystery of it all, extremely obvious. From like the first couple pages, all of the mystery is obvious of what's going to happen. And I am an avid fan of mystery. I don't read much mystery anymore because it generally follows a formula, and when you get used to that formula, it becomes very easy to predict, and mystery is also notorious for not having well-rounded characters and things like that. So when the actual mystery is no longer mysterious, you're just left with insufficient characters a lot of the time. So I've been taking like a tolerance break from mystery novels for quite a while. I plan on reading a little more this year though. But I did like the characters in Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. I did like the characters quite a bit. And it also took me a lot longer to read than I expected. I expected it to be pretty short, but it was on the denser side. Lady Joker. I like this novel in theory, and I have the second, and I started, I'm like 100 pages into it, but I've not read it in a while. This book is so interesting, but so boring at the same time. I feel like an editor needed to come in and say, hey, you need to stop repeating these things. Essentially, it's a book from a bunch of different points of view, which I always like, about a crime that happened, the Glico Morinaga incident, which happened in the 80s, I think, in Japan, where these people that called themselves 21 Faces kidnapped a CEO and then released him. And they were bargaining with the candy snack company over things and taunting them in the newspaper, and it was a whole thing inspired by Ranpo Edogawa's The Monster with 20 Faces, or The Fiend with 20 Faces, which was a thief like Lupin who like taunted his enemy and said, you know, I'm going to steal this at this time. It's a fictional recreation of that incident, or inspired. Instead of Glico Morinaga, instead of the Glico company, it's Hinode, which is in the book a beer company. And it's really interesting, especially the first part, but then it switches from the people committing the crime to like the police and the journalists. And two of the journalists, I felt like their voices reading them felt very similar. So that was a little grating to read. It was a little boring. Kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. And they kept repeating the same crime scene, like descriptions and stuff, because you would have the point of view of the police officer. Well, first you would have the point of view of the criminals committing the crime, and then you'd have the point of view of the victim that was the victim of the crime, and then you have the point of view of the police officer arriving at the crime, and then the police officer telling the journalists about the crime, and then the point of view of the journalists receiving the information about the crime and then writing about the crime. So it was a very, very repetitive book. But I'll probably read the second one. It was interesting enough for me. Okay. What's next? Notes of a Crocodile. This book I really liked. But it was also really confusing. I really liked it, but there were some parts that I didn't really like. The dialogue was a bit, I don't want to say cringy, but it was maybe corny. A little not human, crocodile-ish. No, it wasn't. It was, the book definitely, what was important was not the dialogue, it was the things happening in between the dialogue, so I didn't mind it too much. And it also had this really important message of just like physically being there for someone that I liked. And I will be reading the other book by this author this year that is out. I don't think they've had many more though, because unfortunately they took their own life at a young age. Sorry, getting a drink. James Baldwin, Go Tell It on the Mountain. What a good book. That was a really good book. the prose was just so fantastic. I was reading it and I was just like, wow, you are a good writer. But I'm not very religious, and a lot of like the sermon reading and stuff I found a bit boring or just uninteresting, which isn't a problem. That was a me issue. Trying to get through these a little quicker, but I want to talk about books, so it's hard. One Nun and 100,000. What a weird book. I don't even know how to explain this one, but I do remember I liked it, and I'm going to get another book by this author this year as well, the late something Pascal, and it's about somebody who's like dead. Well, the government thinks he's dead, so he has a new chance at life. Looks good, like he's gonna be living as legally dead or something like that. This one is about somebody whose wife told them that their nose was crooked. And then it all goes downhill from there because they start thinking like how they look different to every single person they ever see, so there's like so many different versions of them, and they want to glimpse the real one, and it drives them to insanity. And there was one moment, I don't have the book on me, but I want to read it, that reminded me very much of the Mad Hatter and in Alice in Wonderland, when they're at like their tea table. I'm trying to decide if I should go get it. It was good though, it was good, I really liked it. The Good Women of China. This book is kind of like a bunch of short stories that are fictionalized real events, I think, where this reporter who had like a talk show kind of just writes down all of the different experiences of women she had talked to, and had a very easy writing style, very easy to digest, while also dealing with very horrific subject matter. But overall it was a really good read. I would recommend it, especially to like men, I guess, anyone who doesn't really think about another person's point of view, I guess. And I think reading this would be helpful for a lot of men as well, just to see like the ways in which women struggle in different parts of the world. But all in all, everyone should read more, and I really want everyone to read all of these books. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I did enjoy like every book that no, that's not true. I didn't enjoy every book I finished. Almost, though. Taking another drink. Okay, faster. Human Acts. This author, Han Kang, I think is how you say her name, just won the Nobel Prize, and honestly, good for her. Great for her. I haven't read enough of her to, say like, oh, she shouldn't have won it, or she definitely should have won it. But I really enjoyed this book, and I enjoyed how much she played with point of view. I thought that was really nice. I think only one or two of the like points of view bored me, and they weren't even that boring, but yeah, I really liked, I think it opens with second person point of view, so if you don't like, I don't want to say experimental because it's not super experimental, but yeah, playing with points of view and things like that, you might not like it, but I liked it, and I'll talk about it later. Melina from Ingeborg Bachmann. What an author, what a book. By far my favorite book I read this year, and I was just blown away with her command over language. I love weird and experimental books, and this was right up my alley, and yeah, I really liked it. Sorry, I'm trying to speed along, and if I talk about that one, I'll talk for way too long. I do plan on getting the other in this unfinished trilogy that she wrote that's about women living in post-war Austria, I think. This one was specifically about a woman's, an unnamed woman's life, and the two people, I forget their names now, Melina and one other, that they kept close to them and relied on, and all of the trauma they'd experienced throughout their entire life, all the way to their demise. Which I don't think is a spoiler. I think it says that if it was a spoiler. My bad. Oops. The Summer of the Ubume. Awesome book. Love it. Great mystery. I love tangents, and Natsuhiko Kyogoku is a smart person and likes to show people how smart he is. And I don't mind. This was also a debut novel, I think, and I can't even imagine having a debut novel this good. This was up there for one of my favorite reads. Loved it. Unfortunately, the physical I think it's a paperback, but the physical copy is very hard for people to get their hands on. People are charging like $400 for it because it's out of print. Death in Midsummer. Actually, the short stories. Did I have any other short stories on here? No, that's one of the ones I'm missing. Okay, yeah, I also read a short story collection by Roberto Bolaño, but that's not on here. That's one of the ones I missed. I'm not going to talk about the short stories too much because I don't really remember exactly which ones I read. This one I did read, the Death in Midsummer, but I generally don't sit down and read short stories cover to cover, but I just pick them up randomly when I want to read a short story, so I don't remember how many I finished of them. I also read Patriotism, which is his most famous short story, I think, and it was really good. I plan on reading, I plan on starting his quartet, Yukio Mishima's. I forget what it's called, but Spring Snow is the first book in it. And Roberto Bolaño's short story collection was good as well. The Savage Detectives by him is one of my favorite books, I think. I'm not very good at having favorites. Harlequin Butterfly. One of the books I didn't enjoy. I did not think it was good. It seemed like a good writing experiment. That's about it, like a good writing exercise. But it won the Octagawa Award, and I don't put much thought into awards. Most award winners that aren't the Nobel or Booker Prize I have not enjoyed, and I wonder how they even won an award. I think the first one was an Edgar Award winner, and I was like, this one? And that's the same way with this one. I honestly, I feel like every Octagawa winner I read, it just dwindles my respect for that award, and I feel bad for the author, which Octagawa, which I do like. I do like his short stories, so it's always weird to not like the winners of that award and that award when I like the author. Agota Christoph's trilogy. This one was a lot less weird than I was expecting it to be. I was hoping it was going to be a lot more weird. Another drink, sorry. It was very easy to read. I think I read the first book while sitting in my living room waiting for a hurricane to pass or something. Like, it was only a few hours, I feel like. It's told in a very blank style. It's the first point of view, I guess, of the first writing of it. The notebook is of a notebook being written without anything that is unnecessary, I think is what they said. So it's a very easy read, and it gets a little trippy and heavy subject matter. Have a bone to pick with one of the reviews I saw on it, because they said it had like full of kinky sex or something like that, which it was none of that. It was assault. Like that's it. That's all it was. And when I read that review, like I'm pretty sure it's on the book. It just, I don't know, caught me off guard because I read it like after reading the book. I was just flipping through the book and it caught my eye and I was like, whoa, that is not at all what happened in the book. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a little more trippy, but I liked it. I did like it quite a bit. The Case File of Jeweler Richard 2, Volume 2. This series is coming out faster than I can read. I like it. I like it a lot. I did bounce off a bit at the beginning of the year. I read it later in the year. I just wasn't in the mood for a light novel, which happens quite often for me, which is unfortunate because I like light novels, but I also like more pretty and purple prose, I guess, and light novels are very easy and digestible prose, so I have to be in the mood for something light and easy, and that's when I can read like light novels and young adult novels. But yeah, I do want to finish this series or keep reading this series, but yeah, I think there's already 7 or 8 volumes out, and I read the first one right when it came out, and I just now got around to the second one. Well, just now, as in a few months ago. Piranesi, I think is how you say that. Honestly, I didn't really enjoy it that much. It was okay. The prose was good. I never had any moments where I thought it felt clunky or weird, so that was good. But people always talked about how it was like dreamy and like liminal space kind of thing. I didn't find it to be that. I didn't think the prose was very dreamy. Good, but not dreamy. I didn't feel ever like I was in some sort of dream or have a dreamy feeling. And the liminal space thing, I didn't feel it. I know it was technically like, I guess that would maybe be a spoiler, but like they're walking through a labyrinth of like marble halls or something like that, but for the most part there's like, I don't know, there's statues and there's ocean water and birds and stuff like that that made it all, to me, feel very alive and lived in, that didn't make it feel very eerie at all. But I didn't enjoy the book too much, to be honest. It was just okay to me. Negative Space, this is another one. I saw a bunch of people talking about how this book was insane and stayed with them for weeks and months after reading it, and the only thing that stayed with me after reading it was I was wondering how it stayed with people. Like, I liked the style of it, I guess. I think it kind of was a double-edged sword a little bit. It shot itself in the foot a few times with its own style. It's told, like, sometimes pages, sometimes just a paragraph of a different person's point of view, and they have, like, the subheading of that character, I think, if I remember correctly. And I think that helped and hurt the novel at points, but overall it just, I don't know, wasn't that great of a novel to me, at least. It wasn't bad either. It was kind of like, what if teenage occultism was real, I guess. That was the other thing. I heard that it was pretty occultish, but yeah, it just kind of felt like the occultism I was looking into when I was a teen. I felt like the time as well was a little confusing because it was taking place in like 2019 or 2020 maybe, but felt more like early 2010s. Small town vibes weren't terrible. I definitely felt like I'd known those people in high school for me, so that was good. It all felt, for the most part, like the characters were good. Mixing in some surrealism here and there that I didn't mind, I actually liked, but some of the prose also felt a little try-hardish, which is funny because I really like stylish prose and artistic prose, but some of the sentences I was just like, that is not as good of a sentence as you think it is. also the repetition of, just in general, the repetition was getting to me. Of certain acts, too, that I don't want to get into. Self-pleasure, that's what it was. And the result of it, which is, that was repeated a lot, and that is a big part of occultism, but also, yeah, it didn't need to be written that much. Almost done. Hopefully you're bearing with me. Hopefully the BGM isn't getting too annoying. My BGM wasn't working for whatever reason, so I just grabbed one song off of YouTube Studio or YouTube Audio Library, and I'm using that. So I'm sorry if that's annoying by now. I can probably turn it down a little bit. Not that anybody's watching, but that's okay. People can listen to it later, and hopefully it's not too annoying. Pedro Paramo, really good. Also watched the movie. The movie wasn't as good, but made it more understandable, I think, but it didn't capture the vibes that Pedro Paramo was very well. This one, to me, was dreamy prose. This one felt a lot more dreamy, and I liked it quite a bit. I don't really have anything to say about it other than that I liked it a lot. So I'm gonna move on. Book Girl. This is so disappointing, because this is where I get my name. Book Scarf and Goblin. I saw the back of the first one, and I think it said something similar. Might have been that exactly. And I was like, that's me. And then, yeah, here I am. But this second novel was atrocious. It was so bad. There was a specific part. It was like this, what is it? It was a rendition of, like, Wuthering Heights, I think? I don't remember. I don't remember now. But, so this guy's, like, grooming and abusing this girl. And at one point, they were, like, steadfast in their idea that both of them were equally bad people. And, like, the girl, yeah, she, like, tried to kill somebody, but I was like, whoa, equally bad? Is that what we're going with? Okay. And I don't know, it was just not very good. Hard to get through. Synaphasia. Sorry, I don't want to talk about that one too much, but I will probably read the next books to see if that was just a fluke or not. Hopefully not. Because I really liked the first one. And I'll try the third one eventually. Okay, Synaphasia. I didn't finish all of them this book. But I liked quite a few, and I liked the author's notes at the end of, like, every story. Or, not the author, what are they called? The person who collected all the stories. Editor, maybe? I'm trying to remember any standouts, but I can't remember any of the names. Anyway, yeah, it was good. I'm not a huge fan of horror, but it was good. Okay, the Angel of the West Window, I think. This one was a lot more cultish, a lot more occultism about John Dee, who is a famous occult figure. It was good. It was not nearly as difficult as I was expecting, because I saw a lot of people say it was difficult. The one thing with this, though, just like any other book like this, when there's two different time zones, I always find I end up liking one a lot more than the others. And that happened with this one, too. Like, this one was set way back in the past and then in the present, and yeah, I ended up liking, I think, the story set in the present more, and that happens to me with, like, every book that has a split time zone, which makes me hesitant to read them, because one shines more than the other, typically. Good book, though. Yeah, like I said, wasn't as hard as I expected it to be, and I'll probably try to read more from them. And I think that's it. I feel like that's it. Okay. New releases that I want to grab this year, my new plans. This is for books, anime, and games. So I would like to read the new book from Han Kang, I think is how you say her name. It looks good. It's the only one that has really interested me of the other books she has, so I'll probably get that when it comes out. But I don't know. I'm not good with getting new releases. I rarely do. These are just kind of the new releases that have caught my eye. But I rarely get them when they come out, and I don't know how many of these I'm going to get. Dee Dee's Umbrella, which is the top one. I forget the author, and I can't read it from here. I don't really remember what this one's like, but it seemed... I remember reading the synopsis and thinking it seemed similar to Notes of a Crocodile, so that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Death Takes Me. This is the new book coming out from the author of the Iliac Crest, I think, which I didn't read but looked interesting. This also looks interesting, and like I said, I want to read a little more crime and mystery again. The Stain is getting, by Ricky Ducournay, is getting reprinted, so I want to read that series. What is that? The School of Night, by the same author of The Wolves of Eternity. Like I said, I don't know. I think this one goes in the same universe. I don't know if this is like the last in the quartet, but I would like to read it. I don't know if I have to read the others first. If I do, then I probably won't read this. Schadenfreude or something like that. I don't know. This is a German novel, I think. It's like 1,000 pages long, and I've been liking big books lately. Well, no, I've been interested in them, but I've been having a hard time reading them. It looks interesting. I definitely won't be getting it when it comes out, but like I said, it's one of the ones that have caught my eye, and I'm looking forward to it. So that was all the books. Not a lot of new releases that I'm super interested in, but I will be reading a lot of books. Getting another drink now. Okay, anime, Cat's Eye. Cat's Eye is getting a reboot. Anime from the 70s. Watched it with my brother. It's very Scooby-Doo-esque to me. Like, don't take it seriously at all. Have a laugh. It's dumb fun. Scooby-Doo logic. And I loved it. Also, intro. The intro, they're doing the original intro again, which my brother and I always jam out to. Like, that was one of my favorite parts of the anime. We'd just be bobbing our heads while the intro was on. But now it's being sung by Otto, who I like as well. And I'm looking forward to that. Witch Hat Atelier, I think is how you say that. I'm not sure. I feel like I've heard every single person say it differently, but really looking forward to that anime. I've heard nothing but good things about the manga that I haven't read yet. The Rose of Versailles is a movie coming out. I don't know if they're gonna do like a series of movies covering the full manga or just one movie. I haven't watched the anime or the manga or read the manga yet. I want to read the manga, it's just expensive. But I'm looking forward to the movie. I'm also looking forward to the next Mononoke movie. I personally liked the 2007 Mononoke's Medicine Seller a lot more, but I still like this movie, and pretty colors make brain happy. No, it's very artistic and I like it quite a bit. The last movie was good. I liked it. I forget what it was called though. The Phantom in the Rain or something like that. That can't be right. It's something like that. Sorry, I'm trying to speed along. That BGM's gotta be getting annoying by now, but I can't hear it. Okay, sorry, I was just checking. Doesn't seem too loud. Your Forma. This one, I liked the first novel I read of Your Forma. I have the second one, but I haven't read it yet. I bounced off of it a little bit. It was the same time I tried to read Jeweler Richard, Case Files of Jeweler Richard, so I just think, yeah, I wasn't super in the mood for something like that. I remember liking the first Your Forma novel quite a bit. If you're into, like, Sherlockian deductions, which are like, you know, grand deductions from circumstantial evidence and things like that. A lot of those, like, well, not a lot, but those kind of like, it can only mean one thing, and you're like, well, it can mean a few things, but yeah, sure. I didn't mind it too much. I found it entertaining, but the anime looks weird to me. It looks a bit generic and not as... I don't know. I expected something a little different from the animation. A little... yeah, just different. The anime looks very... the animation looks a little generic to me. I don't know how well they're going to be able to capture the Your Forma vibe. I heard there's a Natsume Yujin special coming out in like April or something like that. I don't know if it's just like a 20-minute episode special or something more. Really looking forward to that. Favorite anime? Now this one I haven't heard anyone talk about, but it's I don't remember the name. The name is ridiculously long. Something like Mononoke Log of something 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 Chuzenji something. It's about... it's like fanfic of Natsuhiko Kyogoku's Kyogokudo Mysteries, where Kyogokudo, or Akihiko Chuzenji, I think his name is, before he becomes like his bookseller self, and he's teaching school, and it's this schoolgirl that keeps bringing him these mysteries that he's solving, essentially, I think. And it's by the same person who does the art and manga adaptations for his novels. So I have high hopes for it, but I don't know how it will be. But I'm gonna watch it regardless because I like Natsuhiko Kyogoku. I don't remember when exactly that's coming out either, but I'll watch it. Now, games. I don't play a lot of games. I'm not a big gamer. I've just recently been trying to get back into gaming more. I didn't have a lot of like money for games when I was younger, so I usually just played random first-person shooters, but I like stories. No, I like books, so... and they're like... first-person shooters are just too much for me. I like chill games, so that's what you should expect from me. The game I am looking forward to, I haven't played the demo, but it looks good to me, is the Urban Myth Dissolution Center, and I will hopefully play that on stream eventually. I just started... you should look at it too, it looks good, it's coming out in February. I wanted to write a story that was similar to the plot of this game, so that's why I'm interested in it, and it looks good, and hopefully it's as good as I want it to be. I just started playing Nier recently, so Nier Automata is what I started with, and I know that's not necessarily the right thing to do, but I did it anyway. And there's been talks, I guess, or like teases of possible new Nier in 2025 or maybe 2026, so like maybe they're just going to say that they're working on the next Nier, but that's exciting, and I want to play that. And Avowed, I don't really have high hopes for, to be honest, but I've heard it's like a Skyrim successor, so I'll try it out. Well, I don't know, depends. My brother has Game Pass, I think it's might be cheap on there, or free with Game Pass, so I'll try it. If not, I think it's gonna be like $80, so I'm not gonna pay that much for it. But yeah, I don't really have high hopes, but I like fantasy RPG kind of games, so I will probably try it out if I can. Now, my 2025 plans. Reading, I have a bunch of different books I want to read, but all in all, I want to have fun. That's the main thing. I just want to have more fun reading and more fun, yeah, with all the different books that I would like to read. I don't have anything specifically planned, but more books that are... I'm trying to find more of my taste, I guess, but it feels like I'm in between tastes, like moods, I guess, so I'll figure it out. I talked about this with my brother, and something we both want to do, and this goes with reading as well, is find favorites. We don't have a lot of favorites. Like, if someone asked my favorite movies, my favorite music, my favorite games, or my favorite books, I don't have a very good answer, so hopefully this year I can find some favorites of all of those TV shows, movies, books, games, anything like that. So that's kind of my soft plan for reading, is just to read good books that I have fun reading. Fics, mods, stories. Hold on, I'm taking another drink. Natsume Yujin. I do have a fanfic of that I'm writing right now. With fanfiction, I decided to take it a little more seriously, but still not seriously. I look at fanfiction as kind of like doodling, I guess, or sketching. I don't put a whole lot of thought into it. It's just kind of something fun to do, like little exercises. But I'm gonna try a little harder at them, make them a little longer, I think, put a little more thought into them. Still not gonna get proofreaders for them. I don't care that much. I give it like a once or twice over myself, but like I said, I'm not that serious about it, so it doesn't bother me. I'm writing them because it's fun, not for any other reason. Same with my stories, honestly. Mods, I have like 4. Oh wait, hold on, fics. I'm still on fics. I do have a few other anime and manga fics that I have planned. I'm just not gonna tell them yet because there's a chance that I start writing them and then feel like not writing them, and I don't want to get like hopes up or anything. One of them has to do with the little mystery photo right there of all the detective stuff, but it's a mystery. Not gonna tell what it is. So yeah, but it is in the works. I just don't know when it will be out because I keep getting. I get distracted easily when writing a bunch of stories. Like, anytime I'm writing a story, I have all of the ideas for every story besides the one I'm working on, and that's how it always works for me. So it's, I mean, Roberto Bolano said to work on like 3 or more short stories at a time, but I'm working on like 27, I feel like. But yeah, I'll get them done. I'm gonna write a little more seriously this year. Still hobby writing and everything, just I'm gonna try to like actually finish things and make things more thought out. Mods. I have like 4 Skyrim mods planned right now, and it's the same thing with stories. I don't know which ones to work on first, and I keep getting like over ambitious, making the mods too much that I have to reckon with my modding skill and my writing skill, because I'm like, oh, this is a great story. I'm like, I don't have the modding skill to do that. So I have to tone myself back quite a bit. They're pretty quaint, the ones I have. They're small little half story kind of things, not even full quests, just like a story that you can explore, put into Skyrim. One is a bit melancholic, the second, these are in no particular order, but another one is kind of horror-esque, and then one's more dark, a little more combat heavy. It's probably going to be one of the harder ones to make, as well as the next one, and the other one's more upbeat and it has to do with books. That's all I'll say. Oh, sorry, my nose is starting to run. What was I saying? But the one I'm working with right now, the mod I'm working with, I keep having this issue because I'm leaving notes from this person who isn't a writer, and so I'm trying to convey that, but then I'm like, oh, that's too messy, too dirty, too not polished, and I'm like, I'll fix it, and I'm like, no, this seems too much like someone who is used to writing, or like, it doesn't have that like adventurer gruff kind of thing to it, and then I switch it, and I'm like, oh, that's too far, and I'm just trying to find the happy medium right now. I don't know when those will be out. I'll take my time. I just need to get acquainted with Creation Kit, I guess. And stories. I'm gonna be writing more short stories, hopefully this year. And the one I have planned right now, but like I said, I'm all over the place with them, is mystery as well. Kind of like mystery-esque, supernatural mystery. And I don't know when that'll be out either, but yeah, I have a few things in the works, so look forward to that. And finally, the streams. I'm gonna try to stream multiple times a month. I can't say for sure, like once a week or twice a week, but multiple times a month. And my next one will probably be Coffee Talk. but I'm not certain. It will probably be though. I don't know when that'll be. Just like I said, I was looking for when I had time to stream today, and I was like, oh, I have time right now, so I just went for it. Hopefully it won't be as spontaneous next time, and I'll be able to alert people. And that's it for this stream. If anyone is watching this later, yeah, go ahead and comment what you're looking forward to this year. That would make me happy. I don't really have any exit or outro or anything like that, but hopefully this wasn't too scuffed or too cringy, and hopefully I can stream again soon. Maybe I can do like some write with me kind of streams, like getting work done together kind of streams. I don't know. But I will be working on my streams, or not streams, I'll be working on my stories. That'll be what I'll be busy with for the next few weeks. And thank you for watching. This was fun. I'm glad I was able to do this. Hopefully tune in another time and leave a comment, subscribe, like it. Thank you, and goodbye.